Thanks for joining me for another chapter of Pax. I have chapter 21 for you today, and it is short. However, the next chapter doesn't feel short enough for me to need to combine them. So just a short read aloud today gives you time to catch up on the other picture book read alouds. All right, chapter 21. Pax watched Runt all night and into the next day from a bush not far away. He left only to soothe his burned lip in the cool river mud and make a meal of the small fish he found lying on the bank. His sense of smell returned, and whenever he woke from a fitful doze, he sniffed for Bristle and Runt to reassure himself that they were still alive. Bristle had dragged Brush to the fallen tree to shelter her brother and curled her body over his to keep him warm. She left him briefly a few times, and when she did, Pax quietly took her place beside Runt's motionless form. He was there when Runt finally woke with a whimper. Pax nuzzled Runt's shoulder to comfort him. Runt lifted his head. His eyes were clouded with pain and fear. He cried out again, and Bristle, who had been hunting nearby, trotted back to him. Pax pulled back, respectful, but Bristle merely settled herself alongside her brother, her cheek beside his. Pax bent to Runt's wound and licked it cautiously, wary of Bristle's reaction. She watched him carefully, but did not object. Pax set to a thorough cleaning of the wound. Runt watched him with a trusting gaze and did not flinch. When Pax finished, he cleaned Runt's face and ears, and Bristle allowed it. When Runt had fallen asleep again, Pax stayed beside the two. Together, he and Bristle watched the activity of the camp. Although the humans did not return to the ruined part of the field, the scents were dangerous. When the wind was from the west, carrying the smell of the burned land, the men seemed tense. More arrived at the camp with more machines. At the sudden growl of an engine, Bristle jumped. She laid her head back over her brother's. I must move him soon. Humans cannot scent. If we are hidden from view, we are safe. Bristle looked at him, from him to the men. We are not safe if a single human is nearby. Bristle seemed lessened to Pax, as if a vital piece of her had disappeared. He knew that somehow the humans had taken it. My boy does not bring harm. He is not like them. He is not warsick. The warsick are full grown. He is still young. No, it is another difference. Pax was sure of this, but he was also confused. Over the past year, Peter had grown taller and stronger, and his voice had deepened. But more than that, his scent had changed. It was no longer the scent of a child. He is not young, but he is not war sick. The last day I saw him, he cared for me, although he himself was in pain. His eyes shed water. His eyes were wounded. Pax thought for a moment about the mystery of crying. No, when he is hurt in other places, his eyes shed water. It streams down his face. I think the pain is relieved by the flowing water. But his breath, he gulps for air, as though this pain water may be drowning him. The vixen bent to lick more dried blood from her sleeping brother's haunch. After a while, she raised her gaze to Pax, and in it, Pax saw the terrible things that had been done to her family by humans. And then Pax understood something. Peter had thrown the toy into the woods that last day. The pain water had been flowing from his eyes, but he had thrown the toy, and he had not followed. My boy is not war sick, but he has changed. He is now false acting. Uh-oh. All right, even though the chapter 21 was just a few short pages, I still have a couple questions for you. Question 1, how is Pax's relationship with Bristle and Runt starting to change? My second question is, do you think that Runt will survive? Why or why not? And this is the saddest question. What does Pax realize about Peter at the end of the chapter? Is he starting to realize that maybe the most important person to him can't be trusted anymore? That's a sad reality, if that's the case for Pax. Really, he only knows Peter, doesn't he? And his dad. All right. Thank you for joining me, even though it was, again, a short chapter today. And I look forward to continuing this book with you next week. Have a great weekend, and thanks for joining me again. Bye.